Optibotimus coming with another video review. And today, thanks to the folks at Sideshow Collectibles, we'll be taking a look at the new Marvel Avengers Iron Man Mark VII. This is how the Iron Man armor was in the Avengers movie, and much like all the other Avenger hot toy figures that we've gotten, such as Loki and Thor and Captain America, they all come in this nice Avengers motif with a nice image of Iron Man himself. Come on onto the side of it, and that kind of looks like his chest piece right there. That's what I'm guessing that is. Come around on the other side, and you have all the warnings and the choking hazards and things of that nature. Then on this side, another little chest bit. Bottom says Iron Man Mark VII. Top says Iron Man Mark VII, and of course it's a little slip sleeve, so you just remove that like so, and boom, there you have it. And it's kind of hard to see because it's very reflective, but you see the little hologram right up there. It's a very nice open packaging on it. You got the multiple hands, you got the Iron Man head, you also have a Tony Stark head that comes with it. Now this is the second Iron Man that I've ever gotten. The first one being the Iron Man Mark II Armored Unleashed version specifically. I love the fact that you can take all the panels and everything off them and expose them. One thing that I don't particularly like is that it's got Rhodey's head in there. So I really wish I had the Tony Stark head to go with that, but I digress. So I'm really curious to see what improvements they've made on the Iron Man armor itself and the Iron Man figure just in general, because this is actually a fairly old release now. But beyond that, that's really it for the packaging. It doesn't show anything additionally here. I mean, you've got the same stuff, so that's about it for the packaging. So let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the Mark VII Iron Man opened up and out of its packaging. And I misspoke earlier when I said that this was the armor that was in the Avengers movie. It was in the Avengers movie, but only towards the end. The majority of the time we saw him in the Mark VI. Now the Mark VI got severely damaged, and that's when we were introduced to the Mark VII. Tony Stark confronted Loki and was subsequently thrown out of a window basically. As it was falling, that's when we see the first glimpse of the Mark VII. Much like the Mark V, this utilizes a compression kind of technology, whereas the Mark V fit into a suitcase, this kind of fit into a pod that flew after Tony, identified Tony Stark by some bracelets that were on his wrists, and then proceeded to attach to him and wrap around Tony himself to protect him. Now, the Mark VII is a suit that was built basically for heavy combat, and that's really what we saw him utilizing throughout the end scene for Avengers, and utilizes some really cool weapons that we saw previously, such as the lasers, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. As you can see, he's got the red and the gold going on. Very, very cool looking. I absolutely love it. He's got some nice silver bits here. You got silver throughout the rest of the figure as well. But the amount of detail on this is absolutely extraordinary. Now, as I said, my only previous Iron Man suit that I had from Hot Toys was the Mark II, and I absolutely love that one as well. The reason I got the Mark II was because I love the coloring on it. But there's a lot of improvements that Hot Toys has made specifically to just the build of this figure in terms of like articulation and things like that. One of the coolest bits of articulation that's been added is in his head. You can actually angle this up so you can get a much more realistic flying pose, which is absolutely amazing. I love the way that looks. It's not all, you can't get it all the way up. Actually, you can stretch it a little bit more, but that's basically what you got. Now, for the rest of the articulation, you can see, angling up a little bit more, you got a little bit of pivot here. It's on a ball joint. You got some rotation there as well. A lot of articulation. Well, you can knock his mask off, which, oh, where'd your face go, Tony? So you get a nice range of motion there. The shoulders here move in and out. They also rotate at the upper part of the bicep. I love how this bit right here moves. You can also angle it down, forward, and back. There's a lot of posability here in the shoulder. As I mentioned, right above the bicep, it does rotate. His elbow joint bends. I love how what they've done to improve the articulation and the look is put a little rubber bit right inside there. Zoom in so that you can see that. That looks really cool and hides a lot, especially here in the back. When you bend it, you got all that armor that kind of separates here. You can see the rubber there that's nicely covering the rest of the body, which looks really very cool on him. And you come down to the wrist, and also that rotates, and then this bit right here also rotates around with it. It's on a ball joint too, so you get a nice range of motion. Now, something else that they added was, well, he does rotate right up here at the upper part of the torso. He does also rotate at the lower part of the torso, but also if you lift, you can separate it and you can get an ab crunch with them, which was not in the Mark II as well. And then you can just lower that back down to hide that. But I love how you can do that, crunch him down, get a much
that better look for him. And this is just held on by a magnet, and I keep knocking it off. But I do absolutely love that you can get him looking down. You can get a nice little angle pose here. So again, you can get him flying a little bit better. Just such a wonderful array of articulation in this guy. Coming down to the legs, you can see that they move forward and back. It is a little bit more limited because of this section right here, but this is a rubber section, so you can kind of wiggle it underneath some stuff. And well, you can pull his leg off entirely, get that up in there. So you can get a nice forward motion here, but you don't want to leave it like that too long because that could warp the plastic as well. You can also get him to tuck it underneath the butt plate here to get a little bit more of range of motion here. You can move it in and out. Of course, this bit right here might catch right there, so just tuck that underneath the rubber bit as well, so you get a little bit more outer motion. He also rotates at the upper part of the thigh, bends here at 2 joints at the knee. As you can see, you got 1 joint there, and then another joint. Then you come down the foot, and it's got a nice range of motion as well. One thing, I really wish they would get rid of this. I don't care for the foot pivot on here. I guess it's okay. It's not horrendous or anything like that, but I wish it was just one solid piece to make him a little bit more sturdy when he's standing. That's always been kind of a problem with me. It's a little bit more wobbly because that extra joint is there, just like you could see right there. So the articulation on this thing is absolutely top notch. One of the very best that I've had in terms of a Hot Toys. It's very, especially when you're talking about the fact that this is all a plastic suit. I mean, it's really very cool. I'm used to that articulation being on a figure that just is wearing clothes. So the fact that they're able to recreate that with this is absolutely amazing. Now, this guy comes with a lot of accessories. So starting things off first, the most important probably would be the light up features on him. So to access that, you just take the faceplate off, flip the switch here, you got a little weird eye thing, and then close that, and now you have his eyes. I mean, that's just really very cool, and naturally with the amount of light that I use, it's a little bit harder to see. Then to access his chest, just come around here to the back. We'll touch on these here in a minute. These are his little air flaps, little switch up here, flip that, then you come around here, and there's that in it. You can see very bright light. Absolutely dig that. I mean, that when you get that light going, that's a wonderful look for Iron Man. Now, he does have him in the hands as well. We'll touch on that here in a little bit when I swap out his hands. But he, like I said, he comes with a slew of accessories. Now first, because it's a little bit easier, he does come with his display stand, which says Avengers and Mark 7, and then you just pop that on there. You got the adjustable cradle that goes up and down. You can pull it out. Make sure you don't break it or anything like that. So you do have that, which is always a nice touch. Because this is the Sideshow exclusive, he does come with a hologram of the Mark 7 as well. As you can see, it's not posable or anything like that, and if I put it here, it kind of disappears, so I'm keeping my hand behind it. But it has a wonderful amount of detail that is not going to come across on the actual camera. So this is definitely a piece that is a wonderful accessory to have, and is exclusively only through Sideshow Collectibles. If you get it through them, that's how you get this. You can't get this anywhere else. And it's just a nice little piece to add to the overall display feature of the figure itself. So very cool to have that. Now it comes with 2 additional pairs of hands that are really very cool. Now first off, he comes with a pair of articulated hands, which as you can see, he's got a little ball joint here at the thumb. He also moves at this knuckle right here. Then all the other individual fingers are all articulated, so you can get a nice pose with this and go just like that. You can actually have them do a little bit of a fist, not much. It's not really a fist. You're not going to have him punching much with his knuckles or anything, but you do have this spread open hand, which looks terrific. I absolutely love that, but unfortunately, because of the way that the socket is that you connect it to the wrist, you can't get him doing the iconic blaster thing from his hand. So what they included is a different molded hand that has the socket part a little bit higher. So as you can see, that plugs in there, and we'll show that off here in a minute. That plugs in there, whereas this plugs in the side. So you can see the big difference there. I absolutely love that. And then the other thing that they thought to include is another arm guard, which rests
just like so, so that this piece actually flexes up, which is something that the original one didn't do. But again, I'll show that off here in just a second. And then obviously you have the exact same on the opposite hand. And starting things off first, we're going to show you the actual repulsor on here. So you just come around here to the hand. This is on a ball joint, so just detach this. And again, here's the wrist guard that you can see will be replaced by this when we have them, when we want them to blast things. So you just put this in there, you knock off the faceplate yet again, and really, I don't know why it's coming off as much. I mean, it's a good strong magnet. I don't quite get it, but once you have that on there, like I said, you can't get them really doing the repulsor blast thing. I mean, he looks more like he's giving a high five to someone. But to activate that, you come around here to the back. Well, actually, you want to go on the inside here. That's the back is where the batteries are. Then you flip the switch on the inside of his forearm, and there you have the repulsor. So really very cool. I mean, I honestly don't know why you would have that unless you just wanted to have him have a display where he's got his fists like that but have his repulsors on. I don't know, but my favorite, and I'm sure a lot of people's favorites, will be taking this off, if I can get it off. Here we go, come on. Like I said, it's just on a ball joint, so removing that, and then you can see where the light comes from. So he's got the Go-Go Gadget light beam. Then what you want to do to have the actual blast coming out of his hand, remove this. Just slowly take that out. This is rubber, so you do want to be careful with it. It's on a very small little bit right there, so you could damage that. Then just push this on, and you can already see what it's going to end up doing. Well, you want to put the right hand on there. So when you do that, peg that in there, and that's still not his right hand. Oops. Oopsie. Thumbs go on the inside, Paul. But here you have the repulsor, and depending on where you position it, you can see that that makes it red because you're not pointing the light directly on it. If you angle the hand down, that's where you get a nice glow coming from that hand, and that's the best look for him, where you're like this about to blast somebody. That is absolutely fantastic, and you push it in there actually a little bit more to cover up the gap right there. You got the ridges on his wrist that you want to have cohesive. So that is absolutely phenomenal looking, and that is probably the best look for this guy. I mean, it's Iron Man. That's one of the most iconic things, to see him blasting from his hand like that. And I love the fact that they thought to include additional wrist guards that allow you to flex the wrist all the way up like that to create that pose. That's just wonderful, if you ask me. And as I said, you also have one for the right arm that you can swap out as well. So it's your personal preference. But he's not done with the accessories. This guy comes with a slew of additional parts that allow you to make him battle damaged. As you can see, this guy comes with a lot of additional parts. First off, he comes with a brand new mask, which is battle damaged. It's not much. I mean, you can see it's very subtle on here, but there is obvious wear on this, which looks pretty good. It adds just a little bit of realism to it. So very, very cool. And you can even see that it almost looks like the red here is a little bit darker, like it's dirtier looking. So I really dig that. And as I kept showing with the original mask, it's just a magnet, so you just put it on there, and it stays on there fairly nicely. Now, he also does come with these new shoulder bits. Now, coming around here to the back, just so that you can see what's going on, he does have these flaps. All of them lift up, and they're just the air flap things that he had in the actual movie. And honestly, this one goes up as well. This one also goes up. It's kind of hard to get at it. So that, and you can angle these up, and you can have him having his air flaps deployed however you really want. Now, if you want to replace those, he comes with some that have the missiles that we saw when he was fighting the Chitauri. So just pull these off, and that's one thing I absolutely love. These things replace so much nicer and pop off so much easier than the panels on the Armor Unleashed Mark II. I mean, that thing was a pain in the butt. So getting that, and you have all the same flaps and everything. Here, it's just you have the missiles now, and that's the difference that you're seeing there. You can do that on this side as well. Just pop this off, just pegs in basically, and then put that right down like so. Give that a nice push inside there, and again, angling all these flaps up, you can have him flying around just like so with the flaps out. Very cool. And then you got the missiles
coming out, so you can have him blasting things just like that. Absolutely wonderful touch. Now the other thing that you can do, if you want to just replace the shoulder pads, I'm just going to set that right there. These shoulder pads just pop off, just like so, and then you can come around here. You can then pop this off, and then pop that in there, and now you have shoulder damage on here. So really very cool. Love seeing the battle damage on that as well. And then just pop this off, pop the one off on here, and you can put that on there just like so. And now he's got battle damage shoulders. Now these arms are basically the exact same, except this piece right here, his laser, which we saw in the Iron Man 2 movie, and it was just a one-shot kind of thing. That actually doesn't remove either. So if you wanted to add these on here, you can, which we'll get to here in a second. Lasers come up from both of these. So he's got two, and they're like triple lasers. So what you need to do with that is first you would have to take off this hand, because you want to utilize that same hand. It only works with this hand. Well, you could probably use the open one with the articulated fingers, but you can't use the repulsor blast like that one there. So put that on just like so. Come around here. This whole arm just pops off. Pop that in there. Get that out of the way. Pop that in just like so. And now he's got his lasers that as he was flying, he was able to shoot out his laser beams at passing by villains and things of that nature. That's the only thing that this arm really gives. It's not really, it doesn't really look like it's battle damaged, honestly, from the other one. I mean, you got some scratches on here, but these are two different arms. So these kind of look the same, although, again, it kind of looks like the plastic, the shimmer is a little bit different. Obviously, this doesn't have the light up feature in that arm, but it's as articulated as the other one, except I just like I said, if you wanted to, I'm just going to replace this, pop this back off, take the hand off of this one, pop this on, and we're going to leave it on here, because what you can also do here then is take this little piece off, bring this around, and you can peg that in there. And he's got his little super missiles. Now he does have two of them that you can put on both hands or both arms. Just pop that off. These things just peg in and pop off so easily and so nicely. It's an absolute joy to do these. I mean, it's so easy to interchange all of these bits. I really do love it. But you can add those little missiles. Then utilizing the little tool that they give you, you want to come around here to the top section and put inside there, and then just wedge it forward, popping that off. And actually I want to show you this, so let me turn this light off before I blind you. So turn that off. I mean, the detail on this is absolutely amazing. I mean, the amount of detail in that is just simply stunning. I love all the details in there. So wickedly cool. And then, much like all the other battle damage parts, you do have a regular chest piece, and you can see there's a little magnifying glass in there. And then the other one is just a much more battle damage one, but you still got the magnifying glass in there. So you just bring it on. You've got two little holes there. Just put it there. Push it in, and now you have the battle damage chest on the guy. And for some final bits right here, you do have some interchangeable thigh bits that I forgot actually how. On the inside here, you got the little wedge. Just put it in there, and then you can take these and you can put this right there. And it, as you can see, it opens up, revealing the missiles that he has along the side. Then doing that on this side as well. Wedge on the side, pull that out. Put that there as well. Now, he also comes with these. I'm not entirely sure what these are meant to replicate. My guess is that after these missiles have deployed, these bits actually detach, and then underneath it is this, because these are actually a little bit of battle damaged as well. So you can see that underneath here is gold. So my guess is that these detach and just pop off, and then underneath will be these. I don't necessarily think that these are replacement parts for the silver ones, because they look much different, but you can see the gold on the inside here. That's what I think that's meant to replicate, and it looks like there's like connector bits right here, so that's my thought process. Now, in addition to all those other accessories, the other thing that separates the Mark VII from the other versions of the Iron Man suit is that these have additional repulsors. Down here in the legs, right here, you can actually open that up, and they have them, there's 2 on each leg. You can see very slight, it sticks out. These are actually boosters that are much like the ones on his feet, the ones in his hands. That's what these are for. These are new to the Mark 7. They also are on this side. And the other thing is he has repulsors here in his chest. These bits right up here actually are repulsors as well. And then you can actually pop those off, as we saw in the end scene. These just pop off and detach. Now, we saw for the most part these repulsors being utilized when Iron Man was trying to redirect the nuclear missile that was about to hit New York. He needed a lot of additional power, and the repulsors in his legs, his chest, and then also underneath here were also engaged, so he's getting a lot more thrust. Then, after he launched the missile at the Chitauri ship, these detached and popped off. If I can get it. Same with these bits right here, and he fell down to Earth. Now, when he fell down to the Earth, he didn't have these giant gaping holes here. So what they did is they gave you additional pieces that you can take this. I think that's the right side. Oh, maybe it's that's the right side. So, maybe that's not the right side. Hold on, where's it going? I think it goes. I actually think it goes here. I'm just doing it derpy. Oh, no, there we go. So that piece pegs in there. Then here's the other one, and that just pegs in there. So that fills that in instead of having the gaping holes that these would have left behind. Now, that looks really cool, and honestly, that's my preferred look for this, because one of the problems that I do have is that these bits sit a little bit too high. Now, if I remove these from him and utilizing the tool again, always want to use the tool because you don't want to damage anything. So you just put it in there and you wedge it up. Use the tool, guys. These are collectible figures. You don't want to damage anything. So get the tool and just pull it off, set it off to the side. Now, putting these bits back on him, this is my biggest gripe with this figure, is that the shoulder pads stick up too high on him, and it kind of bugs me. These bits right here just on the side, it's hard to see, but really they shouldn't be as high as they are. I'm just kind of highlighting that. Like I said, these sections right here is what we're talking about. These should be a little bit lower, more in line with these shoulder pads, and that's a small annoyance, I suppose, but I love how you can actually take those off and replace them with these little bits right here, because it makes the shoulders stick down a little bit more, and I really do dig that. That's probably my preferred look. If you thought that was it for his accessories, oh no, not in the least bit. He also comes with a Tony Stark head. Now, the head itself, to me, looks a little strange. He's got a little smirk on him. This is a perfectly fine face sculpt. I just don't like the expression so much on it. I do really dig it, and it lets me use it for something else that I'll show here in a minute. But I do like the fact that he comes with an alternate head. And then all you do is take this one, pull it off, then you get him to stand there. Actually, I'm going to use the stand to make him stand, because it's a little bit easier to... actually, no, it's a little bit more difficult to get him to... Oh, wait, because he's not actually on the ground. There we go. Come on. And then just push that down there. And just put that right there. So, we take this. You actually take this section right here. And I think it goes like that. Actually, it goes down like so. Put it like that. And then you put that in there. Yeah, you take this section right here. And then you put that down inside there. And then you just pop his head on. And here you have Tony Stark in his armor. Now, I dig it. I don't have any problems with that. Like I said, I love the fact that he comes with an additional head. But for me, I'm not even going to bother using it for him. I'm going to take this and use it for my Iron Man Mark II. So, all I have to do with that is wiggle that out. That stays right there. Again, get him to stand properly, because they got the funky toes, which doesn't give him much actual stability, which kind of sucks. Then we're going to take that head off of him, get rid of this, put that in there. You got that bit right there. Take this, put that back in there. And now you have, or I have, a Tony Stark wearing his Mark II suit, as well as a severely battle damaged Iron Man Mark VII. But for me, this is perfect. I absolutely love this ability, and that's one nice feature about having the extra head. And despite the fact that I don't like the expression on it, I think it works very nicely with the Mark II, because he was pretty cocky when he was wearing this thing, and the smirk just goes along with it. Now, the Iron Man Mark VII was unfortunately only seen in the end of the Avenger movie. At the end of the Avenger film, it was severely damaged and was obviously replaced before the events of Iron Man 3. But this is still an absolutely wonderful armor to have. The gold, the red, the silver, all are very iconic to the Iron Man character and looks absolutely fantastic. For me, I personally love the round chest piece as opposed to the triangle one a little bit more. It goes back to that original look where the triangle was just only seen in the Mark VI. The paint detail on here, the articulation, all the accessories that you get, the additional head, this is a beautiful piece. And in my opinion, well worth the $250 price tag that he goes for. I'm going to use the stand a little bit more. It just makes him stand a little easier, although not all that much because his crotch is a little bit too big and goofy, but I'll figure out something, I guess. But the figure just in general is phenomenal, and I highly recommend picking this up, guys. For me, honestly, this was the only Iron Man suit that I had planned on getting until Heartbreaker. And even the Mark 42 has been starting to grow on me, so hopefully I like those as much as I like this guy. For me, though, it's just a more classic look, and everything on it is wonderfully detailed, as I mentioned. I was so impressed. As I said, my only previous experience with Iron Man figures from Hot Toys was the Mark II, and I really did like it. But the improvements on here are just absolutely phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about this. Now for me, as I said, this is the only one that I had initially planned on getting, and I was happy just leaving it here. So if you could only get one Iron Man, my personal opinion would be to get this one. While the 6 probably looks a little bit better in terms of the aesthetic, I guess, one of the biggest things that I really prefer on this one is the round arc reactor. It's just that classic look that I've really liked my entire history with Iron Man itself. So that's really about it. Now, unfortunately, this guy is long since sold out and already going for double on eBay. But if you ever do have a chance to pick this up at a price that you are happy with, absolutely, guys, do it in a heartbeat. And if you did miss out on picking this up, I would absolutely recommend going to Sideshow Collectibles. You can click on the link down in the video description. Anything that you want when it's released, pre-order it from there, guys. They have an absolute wonderful flex pay system that allows you to, over time, pay off your figure, so you don't have to pay that amount of money right up front. This thing was announced like over a year ago. Over the course of that time, you could have paid it off and you could have had your own and not have to worry about those insane prices that are going on in the aftermarket. So if you do see something that you like over at Sideshow Collectibles, pre-order it. Lock yourself in and you won't be disappointed. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed your look at the brand new Hot Toys 1/6 scale Mark VII Iron Man from the Avengers. And until next time, this has been Optibotimus. Keep in touch with me. Find our recent purchases as well as all upcoming video reviews all at facebook.com/teambotimus, and follow me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Optibotimus. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.